Welcome to 314 Sports. I'm Ryan Hughes. We got a big show for you today. Let's not waste any more time here. We got Colin Nichols with some baseball news.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. The Philadelphia Phillies decided to go home and beat up on the Arizona Diamondbacks 10-0 in Game 2 of the NLCS. Philly now takes a commanding lead in the big NLCS behind a stellar performance from Schwarbaums and Trey Turner, who both hit 2 and 1 home run, respectively, off of Merrill Kelly. Aaron Nola went 6 excellent innings with 7 strikeouts, and the aforementioned Merrill Kelly went 5.2 innings with 6 strikeouts, and also the 3 aforementioned home runs. Merrill Kelly was said to have been saying things about Citizens Bank Park and about how loud it was supposed to be and how loud he thought it was going to be. And fans at Citizens Bank Park decided to take him up on that offer, and all 45,412 of them decided to boo him mercilessly. And Trey Turner was quoted to have said that it sounded like an AC/DC level concert. That was how loud it was at Philly this past Tuesday. A rival coach also told Rob Thompson that playing a playoff game in Philly was 4 hours of hell. The Philadelphia Phillies will be going to Arizona for Game 3 in a deciding matchup where they could win the NLCS against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And now on to Matty Rose for a World Series preview.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of the Phillies hype train, I got a World Series prediction for you guys. The Phillies are going to win in 5 games versus the Texas Rangers. Both teams have a 2-0 lead in their respective series, but Phillies' offense is just way too overpowering, and they have better offense. The Phillies lineup consists of Bryce Harper, 2-time MVP, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, and the duo on the pitching staff, Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, who have both been complete aces and have dominated in the playoffs so far. However, the Rangers are not going to be easy to defeat. They have the best middle infield in baseball with Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. They also got Jordan Montgomery, who's been incredible on the mound for them. And they've got a former Cy Young winner, Max Scherzer, returning to the rotation for Game 3. And then they've also got Nathan Eovaldi. It's going to be a great series to see both those teams finish out in the playoffs. But I predict that Philly is going to beat the Texas Rangers in the World Series. And now on to Mickey.
Thank you, Matt. The Lions and the Buccaneers played a game, and the Detroit Lions beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-6. The Lions, with the win, go to a 5-1 record, while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to a record of 3-2. The Lions were without starting running back Jahmyr Gibbs, and they were also suffered an injury to running back David Montgomery in the second quarter due to a rib injury. But it didn't really matter as Jared Goff and the passing offense had a big game. Jared Goff threw for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it brings the Lions to 4 straight wins. The receivers were big for the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a huge game, 12 catches, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Jameson Williams had his first touchdown since returning from his suspension due to breaking the NFL's gambling policy. The Bucs offense really struggled as Baker Mayfield threw a pick, and they really did not have a lot of passing offense, and the running offense was really bad. 46 yards as a team. The Lions are tied for the best record in the NFL and lead the NFC North and will play the Ravens on Sunday. The Bucs, with the loss, still are in the lead in the NFC South, and they will play a critical division game against the Falcons. Now over to Aaron with the Cowboys-Charger game.
More on Monday Night Football. Cowboys clutch it out. The final score was 20-17. It was a back-and-forth nail-biter, and the Cowboys are now 4-2 as the Chargers continue their 2-3 run. The main matchups, as we can see from last night, was Dak Prescott versus Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler versus Pollard, and CeeDee Lamb versus Keenan Allen. Dak Prescott had 272 yards and threw 1 touchdown. Justin Herbert threw 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and 227 yards. Austin Eckler had 14 carries and 27 yards, no touchdowns, as Tony Pollard had 15 carries, 30 yards, 2 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, 117 yards, and Keenan Allen, 7 receptions, 885 yards, 1 touchdown. Overall, I believe the Cowboys won because they have a total of more yards. The Cowboys racked in 342 yards, as the Chargers only racked in 272. This was Eckler's first game back after being out for 4 weeks due to a nasty leg injury and a bye week. For his first game back, I believe Eckler played decent, as there were a lot of eyes on him since he knows he is the top running back besides CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Austin Eckler also understands fantasy football and understands how the points work, as he contributes a lot of points each year. He said on Fantasy Football Today, "Putting out maximum efficiency and effort, I can help my team win," which in turn is in the same realm of scoring fantasy points. Now on to Dylan.
Yep, we got news out of the Philadelphia Eagles camp. Julio Jones has signed a 1-year contract with them, per Adam Schefter on Tuesday. The 34-year-old will make his 4th team in 4 years, teaming up with former Tennessee Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. Jones played for the Buccaneers last season and had over 800 yards with 5 touchdowns in 7 games. The future Hall of Famer and 7-time Pro Bowler will be joining a struggling Eagles wide receiver core that have had many issues. One more notable, Quez Watkins, who's been placed on injury reserve with a hamstring injury, and no telling on how long that's going to take him to recover for.
Hey Dylan, this is Alex Stelly here. I think we should go over the highlights of that game. Even though you went over the injuries, there's a lot more things with that game that I think we should cover. And with Rodgers and Vera Tucker out for the season, and with Zach Wilson's poor performances so far, it was highly unlikely that they would win this game. So it was very impressive that they did. As Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown took hold on the Eagles' offense, the Jets had to secure a standout defense performance, which they ultimately did do. The Jets held Philly to 75 rushing yards, forced Hurts to pass 45 times, and secured 3 interceptions. The Eagles could have won with only 3 minutes left remaining on the clock, but an interception by Tony Adams put them on offense and in the lead. For the second week in a row, even though he's been making numerous mistakes throughout the season, Zach Wilson played pretty well for this game. He was 19 of 33 for 186 yards, even though he got sacked 5 times. New York had first and goal with less than 2 minutes remaining, and instead of forcing the Eagles to use their last 2 timeouts, the Jets scored on a Hall touchdown run, taking 4 seconds off the clock. This allowed the Eagles to get the ball back and make a stunning comeback after they were down by 6, with only 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. The problem is that the Jets' offense continues to be an issue, so they need to improve if they hope to make it to the Super Bowl. Hopefully, Trevor Siemian can provide more experienced backup for the team. Back to you, Dylan.
Jones will look to be wide receiver 3 behind A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But don't be fooled, as Jones is a very, very aggressive and dangerous target, and he always has been. But it will be interesting to see how the offense will deal with that. If he's going to be a big play guy on 3rd down and just have one good game, or if he'll consistently be a target for the rest of the season. And it just gives Jalen Hurts another weapon, as if he ever needs another one. They'll play the Dolphins on Sunday, and it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles use Julio. Jones is still looking for a ring in his 13th season, and if any team can get him that, it would be the Eagles. They've had a good start. They lost to the Jets, but they played pretty good, and it's only week 6, and anything can happen. They still need to get a couple weeks in, and they can see what the offense does. But for now, we go to Justin with an injury report.
The Indianapolis Colts will be without Anthony Richardson for the rest of the season. The team owner, Jim Irsay, announced this morning that the number 4 overall pick will be undergoing surgery on his throwing shoulder, his right shoulder, to repair an AC joint sprain that occurred back in a game on October 8th against the Titans. Richardson has suffered a handful of injuries in his short career so far over the course of the first couple of weeks of the season. The Colts will now turn to Gardner Minshew to man the ship for the rest of the season, as the AFC South is still somewhat up for grabs as we approach the halfway mark in the season. could possibly turn to the trade market. Kirk Cousins possibly available. Other than that, Colts will probably stick with Minshew. Now turn over to Jack Rose to follow up on another quarterback injury.
Thank you, Justin. Is Aaron Rodgers human? The 39-year-old was seen throwing and walking before the Jets game this week. 6 weeks ago, he underwent a new procedure that put an internal brace on the torn Achilles. Whether it be science or Rodgers' manifestation technique, he's way ahead of schedule. Walking without the assistance of crutches or a boot, he is 7 weeks ahead of schedule. If the Jets make the playoffs, he could potentially be ready to help the team make a playoff run. Although the Jets, who are 3-3, would need some better play from Zach Wilson, and the defense would have to carry all that weight. An Achilles tear usually sidelines a player for over a year. However, Cam Akers came back in 6 months after the surgery, although he was 22 at the time. At 39, it would be the fastest recovery ever from a player who sustained the injury. Whether the Jets make the playoffs seems like the bigger question, as Rodgers is making incredible progress. Now over to Hughes with Week 7 predictions.
All right, thank you guys. Back with the hat on here. Week 7 of the NFL is upon us, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on my predictions for this upcoming week. Starting off, we got Jacksonville winning their game this week. That is against the New Orleans Saints. That's Thursday Night Football. Even with Trevor Lawrence out, I think they'll get it done. Detroit has their game coming up. I think they win that. Vegas over the Bears. Give me a second. I got to get the schedule back up. My whole thing just exploded. I have the Colts over the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I think I should say this to preface. I should have prefaced this before. I made these predictions all the way back in preseason. So I just have a feeling that it's going to be the Colts, even without Anthony Richardson. I think the Browns aren't fully healthy right now anyway. Nick Chubb being out, I'll back that pick till the end. Buffalo Bills over my New England Patriots. It sucks to say, but the Pats aren't going anywhere this year. The Giants, I think they could steal one over the Commanders. I think Sam Howell's a little inexperienced. The Giants might be able to take advantage of that. Falcons are going to win their game. Pittsburgh is going to take down the LA Rams. If Justin was sitting there, he'd be happy with this one. I got the Seahawks winning their game. The Broncos taking a win. The Chargers, I have upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs. It happens once a year. Justin Herbert goes in, balls out. I think that's the year. Philly and San Francisco, that's Sunday and Monday Night Football this week. Philly's going to get that win easy. San Francisco, same thing. I got no problems with that. They lost last week. I don't think that's going to change this week. And for the record, guys, just to flex my own guns here, and you can say whatever you want, I think I know what I'm doing, because going into this week, I am 60-33 on these preseason predictions. Back to you guys in the studio, and I believe Joey is up with USC, unless you guys want to talk about my takes beforehand.
Well, first off, I'd like to preface that I do like your takes. There's really no issues with those. But moving on, USC and Notre Dame. It's a rivalry that's withstood the test of time, and Saturday night was no different in South Bend when the two powerhouses came together in a heavyweight matchup. The number 10 ranked undefeated Trojans travel to face the number 21